There was a recurring Monty Python sketch where a group of middle-aged women would announce they were going to reenact some famous historical event, but every single event was represented by a hilarious speeded-up handbag fight in a muddy field. I find myself reminded of it by the Call of Duty series. Every time I think it's going to do something else for once, it blows a whistle and everything descends into squeals and handbag slapping. Case in point, COD Ghosts. Not only is it not a game about the vengeful spirits hanging around English chip shops, but it's also not the game it purports to be in its own intro sequence. The Ghosts, as the name might imply, are ostensibly a legendary stealth unit that specialises in taking down larger forces through sneaky guerrilla tactics. So obviously one of the first things you do in the game is ram raids an enemy base in a burning truck and start gunning down every living thing from the dandelions on upwards. Yeah, that's some good Ghost in there, lads. Truly thou art akin to the flicker of a candlelight shadow as you waddle around an open field being shot at from 19 different directions. The other thing I gathered ahead of time was that the plot would be about a weakened US fighting a superior foe, which would make a nice change from the usual case wherein the heroes jump all over vastly inferior foes for floating the idea that maybe the US could stop eating all the pancakes for 5 minutes. So here's the sitch. The US has been invaded by all of South America. Okay, gonna have to stop you there, Call of Duty Ghosts. I get that all of your plots are birthed from the fantasies crossing the mind of a paranoid xenophobic fuckwit as he has violent grunting sex with a pile of damp moss, but at least he used to stick to foreigners who potentially are enemies of the US, and South America has better things to do with its time than sit around shaking its fist at your freedoms all day. At least as long as association football exists. Anyway, they attack America by hijacking America's orbital missile weapon. Okay, gonna stop you there again, Ghosts. Firstly, so much for the enemy being superior if they can't make their own super weapons and gotta pinch them like safari park baboons nicking the windscreen wipers. And secondly, orbital fucking missile weapon? This invasion is sounding more justifiable by the second, because not only is the US outsourcing their weapons development to fucking Megatron, but they also appear to have exterminated every single member of their population who isn't a burly white dude. Just for fun, I kept a running tally of all the characters in the story campaign who aren't burly white dudes, and you are under no obligation to shoot. The final total was 3. A female astronaut at the start who immediately dies, 1 helicopter that spoke with a woman's voice, and a black member of the Ghosts unit who immediately dies. And frankly, when that happened, the main characters displayed less emotion than when their dog got shot. Damn it, the black guy died, they seemed to say. Now we can't claim to have tons of black friends while arguing on the internet. You play one of 2 burly white brothers whose burly white dad has been secretly testing them over the years to make them worthy of joining the Ghosts, it never having occurred to him that they might prefer to become pastry chefs or something. The main baddie turns out to be a burly white friend of burly white dad who was captured by the enemy and turned to their side. Damn South Americans, it's not enough for them to steal our orbital doomsday satellites, they have to start harnessing the power of our burly white dudes as well. Also there's a dog, a German shepherd, the burliest and whitest of all the dogs, which was a bit of a unique selling point in the lead up. He'll run out and savage South Americans at your command because he's been fed on an exclusive diet of neck-shaped burritos, and there are missions where you play as the dog, and finally get to do some fucking ghosting as you sneak around the long grass internally debating the choices at the throat buffet. I was going to bring up Ghost Dog Way of the Samurai, but that might be too cosmopolitan a reference for this game, all of which would have had more of an impact if the dog got to be in more than 2 levels before the game goes, right, hope you got your money's worth, and sends him to the timeout kennel forever. Not that I was expecting him to tag along for the scuba diving bit, fucking amazing as that would have been, but the fact is his role in the game is just another momentary gameplay gimmick. It would have been nice if he'd had some kind of personality besides being just another piece of military hardware for the armchair generals to masturbate over, although the same could be said of the human characters. Speaking of hardware, there are the standard apocalyptic coffee break sequences where you pull a remote control from the arse dimension and rain predator drone death down upon an enemy unable to in any way defend themselves or fight back, and you know what, I don't see how I'm supposed to have any grasp of the relative enemy threat when we may or may not be packing armfuls of super weapons we forgot to mention. Like after the enemy base ram raid, I'm told to pick off the stragglers with the robot sniper. Hold on a second, when did we set up a fucking robot sniper? Or did we bring it here in? How did we set it up without the enemy noticing? Did we disguise it as a badger watching station? Incidentally, the Ghosts are well fucking equipped for a guerrilla unit. Oh no, America has been attacked and is weakened and there's no defences except an inexhaustible supply of tank battalions and an army of killer robots. And we would have had a doomsday satellite if the rest of the world hadn't gotten all weird about it, which they were entirely right to be, because when the player wrestles control of the satellite back at the end, they immediately use it to wipe hundreds of thinking feeling blips off the map as casually as one would use a windscreen wiper on a rainy day. Yet again, it seems like they cut out every moment in the story that could have built context but didn't have any explosions in it, and if they hadn't added voiced plot dumps to the loading screens, the experience would have been as coherent as scrambled porn intercut with the fantasies of Tea Party members. And fantasy really is the word. The vehicles all handle like turbo-boosted magic carpets, lest anything requiring actual skill get in the way of your unpleasant paranoid battle glory daydreams so divorced from reality they might as well be taking place in fucking Narnia. So however you might have expected a game called Ghosts to differ from the modern shooter routine of meaningless violence and empty spectacle, you were wrong, you idiot. But somehow it's only getting worse. Black Ops 2 actually came across as at least slightly self-aware, and Modern Warfare 1 went so far as being profound, such as in that bit where you die slowly and horribly in a nuclear blast. If that happened in COD Ghost, you'd probably just fart all the radiation out in one big heroic guff, pull the broken glass out of your eyeballs, and then use it to shiv the Ayatollah.